Today, AMD owners need to watch before updating Windows. AMD's releasing a monster CPU this month. AMD just made Nvidia's old GPUs playable on new games. And terrible news for Nvidia's RTX 5000 cards. Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. First up for today, if you own an AMD GPU and you're on Windows 11, do not install the newest update. According to multiple reports, Microsoft's newest cumulative update preview is breaking AMD software. Now, before I get to the specifics, some people seem to be confused about what a cumulative update preview is. It's not something you have to be a part of, say, the Windows Insider program to get or anything like that. It's actually sent out on the normal retail channel, and it's essentially bug fixes that are too important to wait for the regular scheduled update. They are optional, but they aren't some early test build or anything like that. Either way, according to some users who installed the update, they've noticed that their Adrenaline software resets settings to default every time they reboot their PC. Luckily, one user seems to have found a fix by disabling Copilot on Windows using ViveTool. With that said, unless you're having an issue that the update fixes, I'd personally suggest not updating to the newest build until Microsoft can fix it. Next up for today, AMD's next-gen monster CPUs are coming this month. But before I get to that, learn about computers the way I do with today's sponsor, Brilliant, the online learning platform that I personally use to learn everything from how computer memory works to even things like quantum computing or AI. It's the best place to learn all of that because they were made specifically to teach the STEM field. And that's not even the best part. Instead of memorizing a bunch of crap or sitting through boring lectures, Brilliant teaches you by having you do it yourself. And what's really cool is that they teach you with these engaging, interesting puzzles that actually make learning fun. Plus, there's a ton of courses for everyone, whether you're a beginner or a professional. And get this, when you visit my link at brilliant.org/gamermeld, you'll get to try it out for 30 days free. So there's no reason not to try. Plus, when you decide to get it, you'll get 20% off the premium for life. But you've got to sign up at brilliant.org/gamermeld to get it. Now back to the story. If you've been following this channel, you know that AMD's next-gen Threadripper 7000 CPUs are expected soon. And if you like being the first to know about all the awesome new PC hardware coming out, make sure you subscribe to GamerMeld. Either way, there was a slide that recently leaked claiming Threadripper 7000 was coming this fall. But according to a new report from WCCF Tech, the exact date is October 19th, so right around the corner. What's wild about their next-gen Threadripper lineup is that they're set to get up to 96 cores. Not too long ago, an 18-core workstation-class CPU was the best of the best. Now, we're talking about 96 cores. Of course, these are considered pro CPUs, but it's still pretty wild. As you can see, they're claiming some big performance gains as well. We'll of course have to wait and see about price, but AMD's next-gen Threadripper is looking pretty sweet. Next up, AMD just made your old Nvidia GPU way better. And I'm not talking about the 30 series cards or even the 20 series. I'm talking about Nvidia's GTX 1060. In a new video from Daniel Owen, he was able to get much better frame rates out of Nvidia's old GPU thanks to AMD's FSR3. Now, you might be wondering how, given FSR3 is only officially supported in the RTX 20 series cards and up. Well, unlike Nvidia's DLSS, just because a card isn't technically supported on FSR3 doesn't mean you can't use the tech. One of the big reasons for this is because AMD doesn't use deep learning for their frame generation, so it doesn't require special cores for matrix operations. Another reason it's not really supported on older hardware is because frame generation does add a bit of latency, because the generated frame can't accept input like a rendered frame, given it's just a frame based on the previous one. That's also why AMD doesn't suggest using FSR3 if you aren't at least getting 60 FPS with upscaling. With that said, using FSR3's frame generation and upscaling, he was able to get playable frame rates in Immortals of Avium. It's tough to see it here because the FPS of the screen isn't perfect with the shutter speed of the camera, but turning on frame generation did raise the smoothness you see on screen, with it getting to around 60 FPS, though it did of course lower the responsiveness. Luckily though, with the controller it was less noticeable. Basically, while it isn't perfect on older GPUs, AMD's FSR3 is at least able to make them way more playable on new games. I mean, Immortals of Avium is a very graphically demanding game, and the fact that the 1060 is able to do so well is just shocking. And lastly for today, I've been over the importance of competition in the hardware market before. Simply put, if a company doesn't have competitors, they're able to charge significantly more and offer way less. And it all really boils down to one word: incentive. A monopoly takes all the incentive away to make things better. It costs money to improve products, and what are you going to do if you don't like it? Buy it from somewhere else? We saw it years ago with Intel's decay into slow, meaningless updates until Ryzen slapped them over the head. And today, it looks like we could be seeing it yet again. According to a new post from this known Twitter leaker, he claims that because AMD won't be competing in the high end with RDNA 4, Nvidia is making their RTX 5000 GPUs worse. Specifically, he states that Nvidia is ditching a monster multi-chip module GPU with HBM that was ultimately set to be their top-end SKU. Apparently, it was set to use the same packaging technique as Nvidia's H100 accelerator, but because all rumors point to AMD ditching the high-end market, there's simply no point. Nvidia really only has to compete with themselves, so why put forth so much effort? Of course, they would likely charge astronomical prices for a GPU like this, but it really goes to show how important competition is. And of course, if AMD had something to compete at a better price, Nvidia wouldn't be able to charge absurd prices anyway. At the end of the day, whether you love Nvidia or prefer AMD, you should want both companies to succeed. So while that does it for today, are you bummed about Nvidia's next gen, or are you just more excited about what AMD's doing with FSR 3? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to try out Brilliant for free at brilliant.org/gamermeld. And as always, have a great day.